Hey friends, it's Sarah from She's Crafting, She Knows It, and today I'm going to show you how to make marbled wax seals. So if you've never made wax seals before, I recommend going back and looking at my very first YouTube videos about how to make wax seals. That'd be a good starting point. I actually have all my wax seal videos saved to a playlist on my YouTube channel just titled Wax Seals. But I have some of the normal supplies. I have my wax seal stamps. They're sitting on an ice pack. This keeps them nice and cool so that in between stamping, they're not staying warm. If the stamps stay really warm, it's just harder to peel off the wax after you stamp it. So the stamps stay in the ice pack. I have a towel here, which you just dab the stamp off in between stamping. That way any condensation or water from the ice pack doesn't get on the wax. But instead of using a hot glue gun with wax sticks, this time I'm using this little wax warmer right here. So I have a little tea light I've already lit under there. The little spoon sits right here, and then you actually use these wax beads instead of wax sticks. So I'm going to go ahead and get some wax beads out. Like normal, I will link all the supplies I'm using in the description below this video, so check there. I'm going to get a couple of red ones out. The red ones are smaller, so I'm going to get, I think, one white, one green, and two red, and we'll see how much that kind of melts. I'm going to put the green on one side, do the white hopefully more in the middle, and the red on the other side. Obviously it's hot, so don't touch it. I'm going to use a toothpick to kind of separate them a little bit. If you see it melting and you think, oh, that's definitely not going to be enough, of course you could add more. I'm going to let that melt for just a second. So I have some toothpicks out so that I can kind of swirl the colors together if they're not looking marbled enough. Now, of course, you could do this right on an envelope. Say you're putting these on Christmas invitations and you already have them sealed and addressed and everything. You could just have all your envelopes right here and just do it one after the other. If you're not ready and you just want to make a bunch of wax seals up front, then you can just do them directly on the silicone mat, and then you can add a little 3M sticker later and put them on the envelopes at a later date. So it's kind of up to you how you do it, whether you do it beforehand on a silicone mat or directly on the envelopes. But they are melting pretty quickly. I already had this heated up. So there's little melters like this, but there's also electric ones. So if you want to do something like this, you can pick either one. These are super cheap. It's not breaking the bank. You could have both if you wanted to. So I'm gonna let it get pretty melty. And then I have the stamps I'm using today are snowflake stamps. I'll show them to you. Hopefully they show up pretty well. Just two different snowflakes, and they're already nice and cool, like I said. Now, of course, there's I've seen some cute ones that say Happy Holidays or have Santa Claus on it or something like that. So if you're doing something Christmassy, I'll definitely try and link some other Christmas type stamps on there. But of course, this isn't just a Christmas thing. So if you want to do this for spring or a baby shower, you could swirl pink and white or pink and orange, blue and white, whatever you want. So this isn't just a Christmas thing. Okay, so it's pretty melty. I'm going to kind of swirl it around. I don't want to swirl it too much. Okay, so now that we have it, I'm going to slowly pour it. The green's going to come out first. I'm going to swirl a little bit of the green around. Okay, I'm going to slowly pour it. Just like that. Now I'm not going to really swirl it around. Sometimes people take it and swirl it all the way around the outside. Oh, it's cute. It's so pepperminty looking. Okay, ready? So push down and let it sit for a second. So sometimes when you're doing like the hot glue gun wax stick, you do it and you kind of take, it's hard to show you because I'm not doing it with a hot glue gun, but you kind of take the tip of the hot glue gun and at the very end you do a circle around the entire wax seal to get the wax to kind of stop coming out. If you do it when you're marbling, it's going to kind of make it a little bit messy looking. So I just slowly pour it out until it's done, and I don't swirl it around while I'm doing it, if that makes sense. So you let it sit here and cool off. Obviously you can add more. There's already a little bit left in there, but let's add a little bit more and try another one. I'm going to do a little bit more wax. I definitely could have used more and made a bigger wax seal. So I'll do Okay, today that one is totally done. So hopefully you can see. I could have had more wax, but the snowflake is right in the middle, so it's super cute. Of course, now if you wanted to, you could do, I have a video where I'm using a gold pen like this, so let me go ahead and, while the other wax is melting, I'll shake this up. I have scrap paper right here from a different project, and so you kind of just dab it until the ink starts coming out. It takes a second. Okay, there we go. Now it's coming out. Sometimes it takes a long time. Okay, so once it starts coming out, you can kind of just gently brush over the snowflake. I have a whole tutorial where I'm doing this, so if you have more questions, definitely check out my other videos on different ways to make wax seals, but I have one where it's called adding gold highlights, so check that out. But especially with the marbled background, it looks super cool to do it in gold because then the design really pops and you can still see the marbling back behind it. So it looks really cool like that with the marbling behind it. Obviously, if I had done like one more wax bead, it would be a little bit fatter over there. It's a little bit, you have to kind of try and figure out how much wax to add at different times. So it's a little bit of a playing game. And these red beads are smaller than I'm used to, so should have added more of those. But you can kind of play around with it. I still think that's super cute. Could be fatter, but still really cute. So let's let the wax melt. I have this sitting on like kind of a cork trivet just because to protect the table. So I recommend, since the candle's sitting there burning, just keeping something underneath it. But it really does melt pretty quickly. Okay, I think it's done. So we're going to pour out a little bit of a bigger amount this time. That's going to be a really big one. So that's what it looks like if you do like a bunch of wax beads. So there's kind of a nice in between, which it just takes a while to find. So let's add some more. It's okay that you were adding more to colors that are already mixed together. It's just going to be a little bit more marbly. So obviously the more wax you pour out, the bigger the wax seal stamp. The less wax you pour out, the smaller the wax seal stamp. So it's up to you to kind of decide how big of a border you want around the actual stamp part. Now obviously the more wax that you pour out, the longer it's going to take for it to cool off. So I really need to give this ample time. So if you wanted a really substantial wax seal, you could pour a bunch like this. I definitely could have done less. So let's do less the next time and kind of see if we can get the just right size. You can kind of touch around the edge to see this is still really warm. It's cooling off, but it's not squishy, but it's definitely really warm. So I'm going to give it a second. So like I said, the more you add colors, when there's a little bit of wax still left in here, it kind of gets more and more marbled. So if it's looking more marbled than you want, you can stop, clean out the little spoon, and then start over fresh. Okay, I think we're mostly melted here. Okay, I'm going to do an amount that looks like the same size as the wax seal stamp. So that looks like about the right size. And then you're just going to slowly lower it onto the wax. Just like that. This one should be done. Okay, perfect. So like I said, this one made a really ginormous seal. Still really cute, but it just depends on what size you're going for. So I'm going to go ahead and do the gold. You do not have to do the gold highlights. I do just like that it kind of makes the design pop a little bit, especially on a marbled colored background like this. And I'll link this specific pin that I'm using and everything else in the description below this video. But I love this, this metallic gold pin works really well. I don't think we quite have enough to do more, so I'm going to add a couple more just to kind of get enough to do another wax seal or two. Okay, that one turned out really good. So I'm going to go ahead and paint that one. So like I said with this, there is a whole tutorial on how to do the gold highlights, but I'm just lightly brushing over the raised parts. You don't have to be skilled at all, or a painter or anything like that to do this. You're just lightly brushing over it. That looks so pretty. Okay, let's make a few more. I don't think I really need to swirl it around more with the toothpick because it's already getting pretty mixed together since we've done it so many times. It's already like very marbled. So honestly, the hardest part of the whole thing, especially for me when using the wax beads, is getting the right amount of wax out. And then obviously you should make sure that it melts all the way, which sometimes if you're impatient, like I think I just was, I think over here maybe it wasn't fully melted. That's why it's kind of chunky over here. So the hardest part is being patient, letting it melt all the way, and then knowing how much to pour out. So, and you decide. So if you want a fat one like this, you know that you need to pour a lot. This could have been bigger. This is more the size that I would go for personally, but I've seen a lot of people do it more like this, where there's not a solid rim all the way around. And then I've seen people who like the really fat rim. You can even add a gold border with the paint pen if you wanted to. So it's really up to you what look you want. But if I know I'm going for this look, I kind of know I need to do a circle about 1 inch around of wax and then push it out with a stamp. So there's that one. It definitely could have been a little bit bigger. I think this wax just wasn't quite melted enough on this side. The main thing is don't give up. Just kind of play around with it. It takes some time to get used to making them, especially with the wax beads and the melter. It's just a little bit different than the hot glue gun method. This might be the last one that I can do without washing out the little spoon because it is getting very marbled. And then obviously you can just do 2 colors. You can do 4 colors. I thought the 3 with the white instead of just red and green would be really fun and festive. So as you start out, say you're doing it and you've already done it before, but your wax beads this time are different sizes. It just takes a few goes figuring out like how many wax beads is the right amount you want for the size wax seal you want. So just be patient with it and have fun with it. And don't forget, guys, I will link all the supplies, including the gold marker and the wax beads and everything in the description below this video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more videos. Bye!
She's crafty and she knows it. She's crafty and she knows it. She's crafty and she knows. She's crafty and she knows it.